All right, let's talk about something that's on the minds of so many people across Canada, bringing your family here. Today, we're going to break down one of the most important immigration pathways, family sponsorship. It's all about reuniting with your loved ones and helping them start a brand new life right here. So, if you're a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, chances are you've thought about this exact question. Well, you have definitely come to the right place. We're going to walk through how it all works, who you can bring over, and, what to expect along the way. So, what's the whole idea behind this program? Well, at its very core, it's all built on one single, really powerful promise: bringing families back together. So, what is it really? Family sponsorship is basically Canada's official commitment to family reunification. It's overseen by the government department we all know as IRCC, or Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. And, put simply, it's the official pathway that allows you, as a sponsor, to bring a relative to Canada so they can live, work, and study as a permanent resident. Okay, this is probably the number one question on everyone's mind. Who can I actually bring over? The list is, a bit more specific than you might think. So let's dive right in. First up, and one of the most common categories, is your spouse or your partner. And it really doesn't matter if they're currently inside or outside of Canada, as long as you're legally married or you're in a genuine, real common law relationship, sponsorship is definitely an option. Next up, your dependent children. The key rule here is that they have to be under 22 years old and not married or in a common law relationship themselves. Now, there are a few exceptions, say, for children with disabilities, but that's the general rule of thumb. Now, let's talk about parents and grandparents. This one is super popular, but I gotta tell you, it's also a bit more demanding. It runs under a whole separate system called the Parents and Grandparents Program, or PGP for short. And it has one absolutely crucial requirement. You have to prove you have enough income to support them. The government needs to know they won't have to rely on social assistance. But what about other family members, like a brother or a sister or an aunt? Well, it's possible, but only in some really specific and, frankly, pretty rare situations. We're talking about orphaned relatives who are under 18, or this unique rule people sometimes call the lonely Canadian provision. This applies if you have no other close relatives you could sponsor, like a spouse, a child, or a parent, and then it allows you to sponsor one other family member. All right, so we've covered who can be sponsored. Now let's flip the script and look at the person doing the sponsoring. That's you. What does it actually take to be an eligible sponsor? The core requirements are actually pretty straightforward. You've got to be over 18 and have legal status in Canada. And a key point here is that you have to be living in Canada, or at least prove you intend to return when your family member arrives. You also can't be in any serious legal or financial trouble, like being in prison or bankrupt. And as we just mentioned, you have to meet those specific income levels if you're sponsoring parents or grandparents. So, you and your relative are both eligible. That's fantastic. What happens next? The application process can seem a little intimidating, I know, but we can break it down into 5 clear steps. Look, it's really crucial to follow these steps in order. First things first, confirm your eligibility. Next up is the biggest task, gathering all your documents. We're talking birth certificates, proof of your relationship, all of it. Then, you submit both the sponsorship and the permanent residency applications together. After that, you wait. And you respond to any request for things like biometrics or medical exams. The final step is getting that decision, which hopefully approves your family member for permanent residence. Okay, let's get to the 2 things everybody wants to know. How much is this going to cost, and how long is it all going to take? Let's break down the government fees first.
The whole process kicks off with a $75 sponsorship fee just to get your application started.
Then you have the main processing fee for the relative you're sponsoring, which is $490. On top of that is the pretty significant $515 right of permanent residency fee, and you usually pay that closer to the end of the process. And finally, most applicants are also going to have an $85 fee for biometrics, which covers their fingerprints and photo. So, when you add all that up, the sponsorship fee, applicant fee, permanent residence fee, and biometrics, you're looking at a total of $1,165 in government fees per person. And just keep in mind, this doesn't include other potential costs like medical exams or getting documents translated. Okay, now for the timelines. And this is where we see a major difference. Sponsoring a spouse or partner takes, on average, about 12 months. But for parents and grandparents, the wait is significantly longer. We're typically talking between 2 and 3 years. So managing your expectations on timing is absolutely key here.
So, after navigating the eligibility, the paperwork, the fees, and the waiting, it all comes back to that initial promise of reunion. The process is complex, for sure, but its purpose is simple: to bring families together. The only question left is, whose Canadian story will you help begin?